I'm Charlyn Kentaro Otim. I'm the founder and director of Kentaro Organics. Kentaro Organics is a Ugandan brand. We make hair care products for African women and children, for the whole family basically. And we pride ourselves on making products in Uganda from Ugandan ingredients that serve the needs of African natural hair. Yeah.
What do you remember about starting your brand? Is there that one memory you have about the inception of Kentaro?
Yes, there are quite a few actually, but I think the one that stands out the most is making the deliveries myself. Initially, when I started out, I used to use bodas to do the deliveries, and I would do them myself. I was doing everything myself.
Yeah.
That was about 10 years ago. Yes, and one day after about 7 years of doing this, one of our very first customers said to me, I remember that you came to my office on a boda and gave me the butter yourself, and it meant so much to her. And yeah, like for me, it's always been about that personal connection with our customers. Yeah.
Okay. And you say you've been in this business for how many years?
Well, 9 officially since we registered the business, but overall it's about 10 years. Yeah.
Okay. And what inspired you to start doing natural hair products?
It was a personal need of my own. I did not grow up learning to take care of my own hair. It was almost always cut very short, and so when I was about 20, 21, I started to I had to figure out how to do my own hair, and I had just recently gone natural. It was a struggle for me. I felt like my hair was never moisturized enough, it was never soft enough, it was not doing the things I wanted it to do. And so I started to sort of play around with some of the ingredients, like shea butter and essential oils. And when I realized, what they were doing for my hair, I just started to think about turning this into a business, because it seemed to me like so many other people around me were facing the same challenges for themselves and for their children. Yeah.
What challenges did you find starting the business? Was it smooth sailing?
Yeah, no, never. It's not even right now, it's not smooth sailing. I think initially at the start, one of our biggest challenges was changing the mindsets of people around products that are made in Uganda. And just, yes, yeah. I mean, it's easier now for sure, but 10 years ago, people, people were not interested. It was such a foreign concept that a quality product can be made in Uganda, and it's specifically for natural hair. It's plant-based, and it's just as good or even better than anything you would find on a supermarket shelf. Yeah.
How did you navigate changing that perspective?
Yeah.
Did branding have anything to do with that?
Branding helped. Branding always helps. So just because women are visual people, right? And beauty in itself is a very visual industry. So having products that look good, that smell good, that are consistent, in their nature, that helped. But also just starting conversations, whether one-on-one or in a group setting, about how, having a Ugandan product, in fact, means for us anyway, as small batch manufacturers and people who are so focused on the effectiveness of the product. If I'm making, for example, a conditioner, I'm going to put so much more of the active ingredients in it than you would find in, say, a commercial mass market product. And because of that, you see the result almost instantly when you use our products, you know. So that helped to change, you know, people's mindsets. Also, you always have the clients who will adopt to the product early, and thankfully, you know, it's helped us to spread the message and said, you know, this product, they say that it helps with breakage, and it really does help with breakage. These were my results. That started to change people's mindsets. Yeah.
And then I also want to talk about like scaling up, because I know there's that point where you're doing it yourself, you're you know, on your own, you're handling everything else.
Yeah.
And then there's the point where you're walking through Victoria Mall and you're seeing Kentaro on the shelves.
Yeah.
What was that like? The scaling, you know, going broader. What was that?
I think we've tried to grow organically. We really have taken things like on a needs basis. So this might not work for everyone, but for us as a company, when we had reached our capacity and gotten to the point where it's bigger than one person or two people, then you say, okay, so now what do we need and what can we afford to bring on? So then we would expand the production team, or would expand the sales team as and when we need to. And I think it has served us because sometimes businesses feel the need to maybe grow too quickly, or to meet a demand that's not even necessarily there. For us, we've always been more comfortable with having a bit more demand than than you can handle, because then it forces you to go out and say, okay, what do we need to meet that demand, as opposed to overproduction and you don't have anyone that's actually interested in your products. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a specific milestone or achievement that you are really proud of, that you think back to and you're just like, I did that?
Yes. Well, I didn't do it alone.
Yeah.
But I think one of the biggest recently that I can remember is a few years ago. We were trying to get into ShopRite. Well, they left Uganda now and they were replaced by Carrefour, but then it was at that time the largest supermarket chain in Uganda. So I remember standing at the ShopRite supermarket in downtown, and thinking, oh my gosh, I was standing in this very spot about 8 years ago. That's where I used to meet the lady who would supply our shea butter and cocoa butter, and it was like in these tiny batches. It was like she would bring us like a kilo at a time, because that's all we could afford, first of all, and that's all that we needed. And I just remember thinking, this is so wild that like I'm standing here waiting for my meeting to start with ShopRite. And like just a few years ago it was so small.
It was such a beautiful, full circle moment.
Yes, it really was.
The beauty industry is very competitive, but also when it comes to natural hair products, a lot more people are producing products and whatnot for sale. You know, some on a similar scale to yours. Some a lot smaller as well. What do you think about that competition, and also how does your brand stand apart from the rest?
I like that there's more competition. I think everyone benefits from healthy competition. When you're just, you're alone in the market, you can get lazy, you can maybe, start to take shortcuts. So I like that just for us as a community and as Africans, there's a lot more people who feel the need to take ownership of our beauty, and the manufacturing around it. So that's great. We've always prided ourselves on being a solution for a specific problem when it came to hair, and I think we still stand out in that regard. The way that we go about our ideation process when it comes to products is sort of from the problem working backwards. So we're not putting out like a generic shampoo. It's, you know, if this shampoo is for dandruff, then we make it the best that we can do for targeting dandruff. Or if it's a growth oil, then we make it, you know, we try to source the best local ingredients that can stimulate hair growth. And so because of that, our products are really effective. Like if it's a softening set, it will soften your hair from the very first wash. And I think because of that, because customers see the effects almost immediately, they keep coming back and they keep telling their friends, and I think that's what has helped us to stand out. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything that you'd like to share about the future? What is there anything coming up? We want exclusives. So if there's anything, please.
Yes, we'd really love to provide, we had a line for children, but we would love to make it a lot more, a lot friendlier to children, including, you know, the really young, the babies and everything. There's not much around hair care for babies, like proper, you know, infants and toddlers that are, you know, safe first of all, but also, you know, plant-based. And so that's something that we've kind of been, kicking about some ideas for some time, and hopefully this year we should be able to share that.
Okay, we'll be looking out for it. You've mentioned a lot about getting things only as you need them, and also like the plant-based stuff. Is sustainability something that's really important to the business, or is it just like a byproduct of how you handle things?
No, it is. It's important to us that we are, first of all, taking care of the environment that we are benefiting from, because if we're not intentional about how we source our products and how the communities around those products are faring, then eventually it will come back to bite us. So yes, as much as possible, we try to source from farmers or farmer groups or plant estates that are big on just sustainability and giving back, so that people can continue to also give to the business.
Right. So as we wrap up, I want to come back to this question. What does beauty mean to you?
To me, beauty is just celebrating who we are as women, as African women in particular, because I feel that, you know, for the longest, it's a fact, for the longest time, our beauty has not been seen as beautiful. You know, we're always being made to edit something. Our noses were too big, our hair was too loud, too, you know, voluminous, or to be flattened. So for us as a brand, we try as much as possible to celebrate that, you know, authentic African beauty in all the forms that it can show up in.